All right, guys, welcome back to the Medium Cool Show. We're talking about a film today from 1990, or you could say it's a movie, but it's also a film.
Or it's maybe perhaps moving pictures.
Yeah, it's a moving picture,
24 frames a second.
24 frames a second in sequence. It's a martial art, well, it's not really a martial arts film, it's just mainly an action film with fighting in it.
Yeah.
And that film is Death Warrant from 1990, starring the one and only Jean-Claude Van Damme, baby. We got another one coming in, another discussion on the man, the myth, the legend. And the film is directed by Deran Sarafian.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's like a no-name director guy. Like, I'd never heard of him before.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I think he did some acting and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't... Obviously, he has connections in the industry and directed this Jean-Claude Van Damme film.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a prison movie.
Yeah, it's a prison movie. It's a prison undercover cop story.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, before we get into this, I just want to say I really look forward to every week when we watch Jean-Claude Van Damme film now. It's kind of become like a ritual, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of go through phases where before it was kind of like Nick Cage, you know?
Yeah, and Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Adam Sandler, and we kind of find these people
Altman?
that
Robert Altman.
Well, Robert Altman, yeah, dude, that's a personal favorite of ours.
Yeah.
But this is someone that's in front of the camera, you know? Someone that's gonna be consistent every single time. You kind of know within the ballpark what you're getting with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It doesn't make you think that hard. It's never something that's super dramatic or anything. It's just very cut and dry. Here's the story structure. Here's Jean-Claude Van Damme being a badass. Movie's over, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. It's fun.
Yeah, his films are fun to watch because of the acting. He's just kind of being himself, I guess, but also taking it really, really seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, he tries really hard.
This is the first Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where it wasn't a martial arts action film. It was it's a prison movie. He's an undercover cop in a prison.
Yeah, well, Time Cop was kind of a little out there too. But this is definitely pretty out there for what his normal formula is.
Yeah, it's his grittiest movie. It's the darkest, grittiest, and probably his best a mood piece shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very moody the way it's shot, and it looks inside the prisons and stuff. And then the overall story is pretty dark. These guys are getting killed in prison, and he has to go undercover and figure out what's going on. And it's a whole conspiracy all the way up through the warden to even the people that hired him to do it.
Yeah, the people that hired him. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a little hard to follow at times, though.
Yeah, it definitely was. But I wasn't really planning on following it that hard.
Yeah.
I was just okay, let's see where this goes next, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the most important parts of the film too is something they set up at the very beginning, where he's chasing this serial killer named the Sandman. He's he's an undercover cop, and we get the impression that he's really, really good at his job. In the first 10 minutes, 5 minutes, we see him catch this serial killer named the Sandman. And he's this crazy looking, it's a really creepy scene, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy looking serial killer, and he shoots him, saves himself.
Yeah,
and
Kirk Kirkpatrick, his name, I think, the actor.
Yeah. And then he comes back later on in the film, and he's the main antagonist for the film. Oh, what the fuck? I didn't even realize this was the bad guy, you know, this guy that we were supposed to pay attention to at the beginning. And that's when the movie starts getting really interesting. He's he's trapped in prison with this serial killer who knows who he is.
Yeah.
So his cover's blown.
Yeah.
And everyone else knows he's a cop too.
Yeah.
And he's the worst thing. He's it's worse than being a child serial killer rapist is being a cop in prison.
Yeah. And the thing is he's already proved, at that point, though, he's proved himself as a fighter, because when he first goes into the prison, they're all woo-hoo,
yeah,
woo,
fresh meat.
I'm gonna tap that ass. And, he befriends a guy who happens to be African-American again. All of his movies have the African-American black sidekick.
Yeah.
And he works the books or something. He's an older guy. He's I've been over here for 20 years. You know, I've seen damn near everything. And he asks him, hey, what did you do to get in here? And then he says, murder. But you didn't do it, right? And he's That's what everyone says.
Yeah, he's like, I did that shit.
Yeah, yeah. But he like helps him out, and he kind of has this alliance with the Islamic Brotherhood of the prison. You know, and they have like this underground like fucking guy who he's like the king of the underground of the Muslims there, and they create these weapons inside the prison and shit. Yeah. He has like a high status within the underground, and he goes into like his little palace thing, and he has like 2 transgenders there.
Yeah, like 2 transgender like prison mates there that like I guess that's where people go to like get laid, you know, in the prison. Like it's just like elaborate like set piece. I was like, what the fuck? This guy like doesn't even have a cell. He's just like kind of roaming the prison like that, you know?
And when he first goes to prison, they try to test him, but he fucking can like he's fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's a fucking badass, and he just beats the shit out of anyone who tries him.
Yeah.
So then he kind of earns some respect. Like his cellmate tries to like take advantage of him in the beginning, but then he just like fucking
he like fucking picks him up, dude, like off his feet, you know?
There's that kind of trope about, oh, he's such a badass, but no one thinks he's a badass, and then he earns respect, and then loses respect in the 3rd act because Sandman comes back to prison. Yeah. So he really has to fight his way out of there. And then it all climaxes in the industrial catwalk set piece. Yeah. Where he kicks the guy into the fire, dude.
And the guy comes out. Yeah. He comes out of the fire, dude, and everyone's like so fucking invigorated by like Sandman's performance. Like Sandman. And then like Jean-Claude Van Damme still kills him.
Yeah, and also like you might think that there's no heterosexual sexual things going on in the movie, but there is.
It's a prison movie, you know?
But like, there's a love story with the woman on the outside who's his connect. Yeah, his rendezvous was also a cop, but they have sex, and remember what you said about her butt? You were like, "Oh, it's flat. I can tell it's flat."
What the fuck? I did?
Yeah, you said that.
I don't remember that,
dude. You said it when they were like right when they're gonna have sex. You like see her, and it's like silhouette, but she's naked. And then you said, dude, that's a flat ass. I can tell it's a flat ass.
I believe it. I believe I said that, dude. Yeah. I probably was right. Was I wrong?
It wasn't like the biggest ass, but she was like thin and like had good like curves. Okay. You know, she was hot, dude.
I apologize.
But Jean-Claude Van Damme has sex with her in the movie. The girl that he's working with undercover, which is kind of a contrast of interest or whatever you would say.
Yeah, it's conflict of interest.
Yeah, conflict of interest.
But you know what? He's really quick. He's really quick to get into it, dude. Yeah. When they like fucking finally meet up again, like inside the prison without any walls, dude. Yeah. Dude, he's really horny at that point.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you see like there's no ass shots in the movie of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but there is a scene where he's naked in solitary confinement when he's sitting on the ground like this. Yeah. And he's like naked as fuck, but you don't see any of his ass, which I don't know. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was kind of off the trail for a Jean-Claude Van Damme film, but I never regret seeing it.
What about the scenes where the girl is outside doing research and there's that horny little like kid who's like trying to like get with her?
Oh, dude. Oh my god, yeah, the hacker kid. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. He's like so horny. Yeah. And it's so like, I was like, dude, this is like so unnecessary to be in the film because you can tell it's like this little nerdy guy is trying to get with this like really beautiful woman. It's like, this isn't going anywhere, but like they spend like at least 5 minutes on that dialogue. Yeah. And you're like, all right, let's like.
But he finds he like hacks it and finds some information about people inside of the prison.
Yeah, he finds out.
But the twist of the movie is that the people that hired him to do it are also the bad guys at the same time. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, they work for the state or something like that. Which like, yeah, I don't know either. Like who hired him?
It's like the same people who. It's one of the people who's corrupt inside the organization that hired him. That is actually doing the corruption. So it's like a weird catch-22 situation. Yeah. But then at the end, it's a happy ending, which is good.
Yeah, it is a happy ending, but it's like it's confusing how we got there. Yeah, for sure.
Like the action sequences, there are fighting sequences, but they're more like wrestle matches, prison style, rather than actual like fights that you would expect in other Jean-Claude Van Damme films. So it's like a real like fight, like street fighting and shit. It's more like rough and tumble type.
Yeah.
I mean, he kicks people and he punches people. It's sick, you know what I mean? Like when he kicks the guy into the fire, he does a triple twist kick and knock in,
Yeah, but I don't know if he's like sore after this movie. There's movies I see him in where I'm like, dude, he's sore after that movie.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know, it didn't stretch that much.
Yeah.
But you know what?
We're gonna watch Deep Impact next.
Double Impact.
Oh, Double Impact?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, twins.
Yeah.
2 Jean-Claude Van Dammes in one film.
Yeah.
Damn. No, but the last thing I want to say about Death Warrant, the fucking warden is such an asshole, dude. I'm like waiting for him to get his comeuppance, like, and he finally does. It's like not that satisfying, but like, because you want like junk. I thought that was gonna be the villain, and then they kind of like subvert your expectations with like the serial killer being the bad guy, but like.
And it just goes all the way to the top of this conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, have you guys seen Death Warrant? It's kind of an out of the way one, but it's still in like his peak golden years of the early 90s. So have you guys seen it? What do you think of it? Stay tuned for more Jean-Claude Van Damme discussions, baby. Blah, blah, blah.